Dandat Pranam Prabhuji's Mataji. Can we see the screen? And is my voice audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Dandat Pranam Mataji. Jai Shri Prabhupada. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहागणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। So this is the last book. We won't have our discussion next week because it is God Purnima. Most likely 6 to 7 weeks we should be done with this course. The Upanishads. Now there are many Upanishads. Among them, the most primary Upanishad that we refer to is Isopanishad. And more discussion about what is Upanishad, what is Vedas, what is Upanishad, where is it coming from. Today we'll discuss those, and we'll discuss the invocation prayer, and this will be the agenda. The Upanishads are the final conclusion of the Vedas and are the crown jewel of the Vedas. The essence of the Vedas we call Upanishad, or the conclusion of the Vedas, or the crown jewel of the Vedas means, basically the essence, the crux, they are captured in Upanishads. Those who read Upanishads no need to read Vedas, and those who read Isopanishad no need to read other Upanishad. And among all the Upanishad, the topmost actually is Gita Upanishad. We will see that, which is Bhagavad Gita. Those who read Bhagavad Gita, everything is covered in Bhagavad Gita itself. The two meaning of Upanishads are Upa means near and Nishidati means bring. Upanishad is that scripture which brings a person closer to the Supreme Lord. So bring near. Upanishad. Upa means near, Nishad means bring. So bring near. So Upanishad, those who read, the purpose of Upanishad is to bring us near to God, Supreme Lord Krishna. Upa means, there's another meaning. Upa means near, Ni means certainly, and Sad means to loosen, to destroy, or to attain. So one meaning of, and this is, the second meaning, it can either mean certainly loses one's bondage. So to loosen one's bondage. And Ni means certainly loosens one's bondage and take us near to the Lord. Then destroys one's ignorance. So Sad means to loosen. If we take the meaning of Sad as to loosen, so it means certainly to loosen one's bondage. If you take the meaning of Sad as destroy, then it means this Upanishad certainly destroys one's ignorance about one's Swarupa, or one's ignorance about the bodily conception of life. And then if you take the meaning of Shad as attain, then Upanishad becomes certainly one attains liberation. Or this Upanishad helps. So all these things are true. Upanishad will take us closer to Krishna. Upanishad will Ishopanishad will loosens our bondage in this material world. Ishopanishad will destroy our ignorance of our true identity, and Ishopanishad will help us to attain liberation. So that's how we. Okay. Then the Upanishad is called Brahma Vidya or Rahasya Vidya, or secret spiritual knowledge imparted by a guru to a disciple. It is said that the Upanishad must be heard from the spiritual master. And we are hearing it from Srila Prabhupada, and who is the Siksha Guru for entire ISKCON, Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya. Through Srila Prabhupada's purport, and I have taken this from the notes of Gaurang Darshan Prabhu in Govardhaniko village. And Prabhuji has referred to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidya Bhushan, mm, mm, and I think Jiva Goswami and Srila Prabhupada. So their commentaries combined, and this series has come about. So it's called Brahma Vidya. Brahma also means Krishna. He's Para Brahma. Rahasya Vidya, it is very secret. It is like Krishna also says, Bhagavad Gita, this is the most confidential knowledge. So that's why it's Rahasya Vidya, it's Brahma Vidya. Purpose. That is our purpose. Then there are many Upanishads. There are many Upanishads, of which 108 are listed in the Mukti-Upanishad. Mukti-Upanishad is another Upanishad that describes 108 main Upanishad. And among them, there are 11 prominent. So there are, I think, like 1100 or something. There are many Upanishads. Among them, 108 are most prominent. Among they are mentioned, all 108 are mentioned in Mukti Upanishad. All these are written by Srila Vyasadeva. So he is describing the prominent ones. And among them, 11 are prominent. They are called Isha. That is what we will be reading. Then there is Kena Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Mundak Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Aitareya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Acharyas like Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Baldevidya Bhushan, others have written commentaries on them. So these are 11 main Upanishad, and we will see if when we read purport of Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada quotes almost all of them many times. Especially Katha Upanishad, Prabhupada quote Mundak Upanishad, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad. There are Isha Upanishad, obviously Srila Prabhupada has written commentary. Prabhupada quotes many of these. Chandogya Upanishad. The names are very familiar to us, although we may not have read them. Our Bhanu Maharaj, who is one of Srila Prabhupada's disciple, has also written, has translated from Sanskrit in English the version of Baldev Vidya Bhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And see, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidya Bhushan, Madhvacharya, and if they are writing commentary on these Upanishads, means they're very prominent. Otherwise, why would such great personality write commentary? I mean, we don't read all of them. Generally speaking, some out of curiosity may read, and they all describe the glories of the Supreme Lord. But then they found it important to take and translate in English. They spend, I mean, to write a commentary in Sanskrit. Great acharyas, means very prominent ones. The Ishopanishad is the last chapter of Shukla Yajurved. So many of the Upanishads are taken from the Ved itself. And Yajurved, Shukla section of Yajurved, the last chapter is Ishopanishad. That is the origin of this. And so basically it's the essence and is contained within the Vajrasaneya Samhita. It is also called Vajrasaneya Samhitopanishad because it is also mentioned there. The Upanishad clearly defines five tattvas or truth, namely Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma. And if you see, Bhagavad Gita speaks about these five topics, Gita Upanishad, and same Isopanishad also speaks about all these five topics. Most prominent Upanishad, Isopanishad, but the essence of all the Upanishad is Gita Upanishad. And then by the mantras of Isopanishad, Swambhuva Manu praised Lord Yagya, an incarnation of Vishnu, who was the son of Manu's daughter Akuti. So Manu had a daughter, her name was Devahuti, whose son was the Supreme Lord in the form of Lord Kapila. Manu has another daughter by the name Akuti, whose son was another incarnation of the Supreme Lord Yagya. So two grandsons of Swayambhuva Manu um, were the were the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is Lord Yagya and one is Lord Kapila. And later on, Swayambhuva Manu adopted Lord Yagya as, and he would take care of Lord Yagya. So when he saw Lord Yagya being the Supreme Lord, so Swayambhuva Manu, he glorified him by reciting the 18 verses of this Upanishad. It's called Isopanishad. Just the glories. Otherwise, Swayambhuva Manu is the most learned. He has written Manu Samhita. He is a pure devotee of the Lord. Um, and he uses these verses to glorify the Supreme Lord. So naturally, this is very prominent. Who was the son of Manu's daughter Akuti? When Manu retired from family life and was performing austerities and chanting the Isopanishad mantras, fierce Rakshasas approached him, desiring to eat him. Lord Yagya then killed the Rakshasas and saved Manu. So Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, first chapter describes Manu retired from his duties of being the king or being the Manu for the Yagya. When he was retired, then he was remembering and glorifying the Lord by repeating these mantras of Isopanishad. At that time, some Rakshasas, they wanted to kill Swambhuva Manu. That time, Lord Yagya, being very pleased with his prayers of chanting of Isopanishad mantras, Lord Yagya killed him. That shows that Lord is pleased, Lord is glorified by these mantras. These mantras are chanted for the pleasure of the Lord. It is coming from the last chapter of Sukla section of Yajurveda, and it is one of the most prominent of the 11 Upanishads among 1100 Upanishads. And the essence of all the Upanishad is Gita Upanishad. Now the Vedas, something about the Vedas. Veda is the sound incarnation of the Supreme Lord. We see third chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the Vedas emanate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says. They are also called Brahma Vakya or spiritual sound vibration. They are the sound incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Like Krishna in sound form are the Vedas. Krishna in name form, Krishna is Krishna. Veda come from the verbal root with, which means to know or to be aware, like Srila Prabhupada. So the word Veda means to know. So Srila Prabhupada says, Bhakti nahi Veda nahi. Janma Sata Koro. Bhakti nahi Veda nahi means I don't have bhakti and I don't have knowledge. So Veda nahi means I don't have knowledge. So Veda means knowledge. Veda means to know, which means to know or to be aware. Spiritual science. So Veda means, now here is the transcendental science. Know about what is beyond. That is Veda. Thus Veda means knowledge presented in the form of sound. or Sanskrit verses sung in meter. Each verse is called a mantra. The collection of mantras is called a shukta, and the collection of shuktas is called a samhita. So samhita is, there is one verse of Veda is called a mantra. Many mantras is called a shukta, and many shuktas it becomes a samhita. This is just general understanding of Vedas. If somebody says, "Well, this is the Shukta section of this Veda. This is the Samhita coming from this. This is the mantra from this." So we get just understanding the terminology used in Vedas. Another thing that is mentioned is Vedas are mentioned as Apaurushaya. The Vedas are not compiled by any mortal being. Vedic knowledge is perfect, and it comes from Lord Krishna. That's why they are called Apaurushaya. Then Shruti, the Vedas are learned from authoritative sources through oral reception, hearing. So they are called Shruti. Shruti means what is spoken by the Lord, and Shruti also means this subject matter is heard from Guru and the Vedas, and it is received through the medium of hearing. So the Vedas are learned from authoritative sources through oral reception. And oral reception in this age of Kali comes from Srila Prabhupada books. That is also Prabhupada defines Shravanam as book Bhagavad. When we are now great Acharya Srila Prabhupada. So this is directly read Isopanishad, but will be understood. But when we hear from the commentaries of Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vedas are learned through the medium of a bona fide spiritual master. Then truth, the Vedas are axiomatic truth to be accepted as they are without interpretation. That saves time. So Vedas means axiomatic truth. Axiomatic truth means which is accepted without any proof. That's how Veda should be accepted. Example of although stool is considered unclean, the Vedas say that cow dung is pure, therefore it is accepted to be so. Axiomatic truth is one that does not require a proof. And Vedas are axiomatic truth means whatever it says accept. That saves time. You can do all the research and you will come to the conclusion why this is Brahma Vakya. This is coming from the Supreme Lord. Whatever it says is truth. The bone is considered impure, but then we use the bone to serve the Lord like a conch. And we bathe the Lord with a bone, and bone we bathe the Lord with a conch. And the bone is impure, stool is impure, urine is impure, but we bathe the Lord with stool and urine of cow. So whatever it says, Brahma Vakya. Axiomatic truth, a truth that does not require any proof. That will save you time. Then there was one Veda. Initially, the Lord spoke one Veda, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, one Veda was there. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga came Rig, Sam, Atharva, and they divided the one Veda into four Rigs and put them down in right. Was my voice clear? Breaking?
It was breaking a little, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, it was breaking up.
Prabhuji is
I think
breaking.
it got stuck.
Uh-huh. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's much better now.
Since when the voice was not clear?
Last 2 minutes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. I think the last couple bullets, Prabhu.
Yeah, maybe a couple of verses,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
just the last bullet, I think,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay. So did we discuss about truth, axiomatic truth? What does axiomatic truth means?
Yeah, we discussed that.
Okay. So axiomatic truth is something that does not require proof, accepted without interpretation. That will save us time. Otherwise, it will be proved like that. So that is the truth. Vedas have to be accepted in that way. Vedas are aparushaya. They are received through the medium of spiritual master. That's what they're called Shruti. The truth that it contains is Brahma Vakya, can never be false. So therefore, should be accepted without any proof. Initially in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, there was one Veda. Vyasadeva divided into four. It was Yajurved, and now it became Rig, Sam, Atharva, and Yajur. And he put them down in writing because people in Kali Yoga will have poor memory. Previously, they would hear and they would transmit, but now people cannot remember. And that's why Vyasadeva, knowing the qualities of Kali Yuga, with the help of Ganesh, he wrote it down. People are short-lived, people are unintelligent, they cannot understand these subject matters. And that's why he wrote a commentary on it. And then he elaborated, he divided it into many parts just for people to understand. Okay. Is the sound okay? Is the sound clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's clear.
much
Thank you. Vyasadeva summarized the Vedic knowledge in the Vedanta Sutras. And then after describing the Upanishads, then he summarized it in the form of Sutra. Sutra itself means summary. Sutra means you take many, like the whole Samhita, which is like one mantra, one verse is a mantra. Many mantras become a sukta, and many sukta become a samhita. And Vyasadeva maybe took many samhitas at once and just put in one line. So he summarized the whole science of Vedas and Upanishads. He summarized the entire Vedic knowledge in Vedanta Sutras. But Vedanta Sutra need to be understood very specifically from a bona fide guru who understand the Vedas and the Upanishads clearly, because we cannot directly take the very short summary form and interpret it in our ways. And that's what many schools have done, like the impersonalist schools, and many schools have done that. So the summary is Vedanta Sutra. Then the goal of Vedic study, Krishna is the compiler and the knower of the Vedas. Goal of Veda is to know Krishna. Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, goal of Veda is to know me. Then to know something beyond the experience of one's senses and beyond experimental research, one must accept the Vedas. This Krishna we cannot understand through our experience of our senses. We can understand him through spiritual senses, that is based on his revelation, but we cannot understand Krishna through our material senses. Na bhavet grihad indriya sevan mukhe hi jivado. There is a verse, na? Chaitanya Charitamrita explains. Um, 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 through blunt material senses, one cannot understand Krishna. So that which is beyond the experience of one's senses and beyond experimental research. You cannot do some experiment and say, hey, now I see Krishna from this experiment. So if one wants to understand something which is beyond experimental research and beyond the experience of one's senses, one must accept the Vedas as truth, as axiomatic truth. Then it will save time and trouble and you get clear understanding. And it should be heard from Shruti, from a bona fide spiritual master, by hearing. Then we can understand it as they are. Several acharyas, including Baladev Vidyabhushana, Ramanuja Acharya, Madhva Acharya, Shankaracharya, have written commentaries on the Vedanta Sutra. Is my voice breaking?
No, Prabhuji, it's
No,
clear,
just a
Prabhu.
little bit, Prabhuji.
It's pretty clear, Prabhu.
Now,
Should I turn off my video and try?
Well, Prabhuji, it might save some bandwidth, possible.
Yeah. Okay, turn off my video. Now, if it doesn't come out, please let me know ASAP. So that then I can switch to the phone network quickly. That will be clear, because the purpose is we are able to go through this presentation. So is it okay now? As of now, the sound very clear,
Yes,
consistent.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, several acharyas, including Baldev Vidyabhushan, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Shankaracharya, have written commentaries on the Vedanta Sutra. Beside that, Vyasadeva himself wrote Srimad Bhagavatam explaining the Vedanta Sutra. So first Vyasadeva, he took the Veda, the original Veda, divided it into four, simplified it. Then he, from the Vedas, he took certain Upanishads, certain section of Vedas, which are very prominent. And why he wrote those Upanishads? So that, like, how do we explain? Like, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, what is the most important chapter of Bhagavad Gita? What do you recommend if I can read only one chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Then Prabhupada says, all right, then you can read 12 chapter. So if you take 12 chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and then, like, for example, from Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, Prabhupada released the book The Perfection of Yoga. So now if you consider Bhagavad Gita as a Veda, then Perfection of Yoga is a Upanishad, something like that. Take a section of the Veda which is important, which is transcendental, because Vedas deal with many other subject matters now, like it is mentioned. Lord Krishna says, Trigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistrigunya Bhavarjuna. He says the Vedas mainly deal with the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. So Vedas deal with all the three modes. All the Karma Kanda section, all those things are there. But Upanishads are more spiritual. It is said Vedas have Karma Kanda section, Jnana Kanda section, Upasana Kanda section, which is how to worship, how to perform bhakti. That is Upasana Kanda section. And that, those some of those important, then Vyasadeva took and he formed into Upanishad. And last chapter of Yajurveda, which is the summary of the Supreme Lord, is that's how Isopanishad was taken among them. And then it saves time just to read Upanishads, but Upanishads also are many. So Vyasadeva thought, let me summarize it. So he took all the Upanishads, the essence of all the Upanishads, which is the essence of the Vedas also, and then he wrote a summary study. Then Vyasadeva, after writing summary, after writing the whole Vedas, the Upanishad, and the Vedanta Sutra, then Vyasadeva thought to do a justice to describe everything in the essence of everything. And then he wrote a commentary on his own Vedanta Sutra, and that is Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva described as the fifth Veda, because Veda are the ultimate source. He described, or non-different from Vedas, fifth Veda. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, nothing else is needed. And the essence of all the Upanishad is Gita Upanishad. So if you read Bhagavad Gita, if you read Bhagavatam, full stop. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita explains further the concept of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Okay, so now any question on what are Upanishads, or one more? Vyasadeva, who was dissatisfied after writing so many scriptures, took the instruction and guidance of Narada Muni and wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, the crown jewel of all the scriptures, that contains the essence of all Shruti, Smriti, and Nyaya Prashthanas. Okay, so any question about where is Isopanishad coming from, what Upanishad means, what Vedas, the relationship between Vedas and Upanishads, the relationship between Veda, Upanishad, and Vedanta Sutra, and how it leads to Srimad Bhagavatam. So any discussion about this flow?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, you mentioned that if one reads Gita Upanishad, which is Bhagavad Gita, there is no need to read any other Upanishad.
That is
So,
correct.
Prabhuji, then why are we studying Isopanishad?
Isopanishad? Well, it is the most important Upanishad among all 1100 Upanishad. And the previous acharyas have given commentary on these Upanishads. It is Brahma Vakya because coming directly from the Veda. So if somebody asks you, have you read any section of the Vedas directly? You can say, yes, I read Isopanishad. And we will see, and it's nice to see what Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita and what is coming in the Upanishad. You will see a lot of similarity. But having understood Bhagavad Gita, there is actually no need to understand anything else because whatever you read, you will understand that you know that already. That's why Krishna has already given the summary of everything. But then it's nice to, it gives more faith because we read only one and then we don't explore anything else. For example, like if you buy a house and then you say that I saw a house and this house is the best of all the house, somebody told you, and you're like, okay, that's very nice. And then you look at many houses and then you like, oh, that house really was the best. So there's no such house. All right, I'll go for that house. So in that way, when you read all these scriptures also, then you understand, then you will have a full, conviction. Yes, I have read the Upanishad also. I have read, and this is the essence of everything.
Okay, Prabhuji. One more question, Prabhuji. So, during one of the Bhagavatam discussions, I heard that Vedas were spoken by Brahmaji. And that's what
Correct.
Vyasdev, then what do you say? He made 4 parts out of that, 4 Vedas. So, but then there was also a mention in one of the slides today that it was not spoken by any mortal being.
Correct.
So is it just trying to understand that, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Prabhu, because first Lord Vishnu spoke Vedas to Brahma in two ways. Like one first verse of Bhagavatam says, um, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then it says, what is the beginning of the first verse of Bhagavatam?
Janmadhyasya.
Janmadhyasya yatha ityachate shobhagyasura tene brahma hridayadi kavi muyatiya suraya. Tejovari yathavida medamayo yatoti sagurmesa dhamna svena sadam kuhakam satyam paramadimahi. So there it says, the second line it says, Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muyati Suraya. The Lord spoke, Tene Brahma Hriday Adi Kavaye. Originally, this knowledge, Adi means that is the first original. Adi Kavaye spoke. Tene Brahma. This, I offer my respectful obeisances to Om Namo Bhagavan Vasudev, who spoke originally the Vedas through the heart of Brahma. And then another reference comes, which comes in third canto Bhagavatam, where there is the essence of Bhagavatam or Chatushloki Bhagavatam, which contains the entire Vedic knowledge in it, and those 4 verses were spoken by Lord Vishnu to Brahma. And there is a Brahma Narada Samvad in the third chapter, in the third canto. Um, and then in the second canto, there is Brahma Narada Samvad. Based on some questions asked by Maharaj Parikshit to Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami says, I will answer you these questions based on Brahma Narada Samvad. And then there's a discussion between them. And Narad Muni asks the essence, and Brahma says, I will explain to you what Lord Vishnu explained to me. And then he spoke the 4 essential verses of Bhagavatam. And then Brahma describes in his own words what those 4 verses, Chatushloki Bhagavatam, means. So Brahma spoke, but the knowledge was not created by Brahma. Clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anything
Uh,
else?
I have one more question, but I'll hold on to that, Prabhuji.
Go ahead. If it is relevant, go ahead.
Prabhuji, in one of the slides it was mentioned there are 11 main Upanishads, and but there was no mention of Gita in that.
Yeah, Gita is considered as the essence of all the Upanishad. That's why it's generally referred to as Gita Upanishad. Gita is not something that is taken from the Vedas.
I see. Okay,
है ना?
Prabhuji. Yes,
Clear?
Prabhuji.
Understood?
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, any other question up till now? All right, thank you. Now there are two systems of acquiring knowledge that is called Aroha Pantha and Avaroha Pantha. Prabhupada described this. We also described this in our beginning sessions. This is introduction to Isopanishad, so we're discussing this flow. Aroha Pantha is inductive or ascending knowledge. Knowledge sought through imperfect senses, research, or experiment. Ascending means you're trying to understand who God is. This is called Aroha Pantha. One is you are trying to understand through Vedas. That is, the knowledge is descending from Brahma to Narayan, to Brahma, to Narada, to Vyasadeva, and to us. This is called Avaroha Pantha. And we hear and we understand God. And Aroha Pantha is the path of mental speculation and trying to attain that. And this is very difficult path. So Aroha Pantha is ascending, Avaroha Pantha is descending. We deduce it from the Shastra. We hear the Shastra, we understand the Shastra. It's a descending process, knowledge acquired by hearing from a bona fide sources or the Supreme Lord. This is like Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, all the Shastra. This is Avaroha Pantha. Then there is Prashthan-traya. Prashthan means, Traya means three. So three sources of spiritual knowledge. They are called Shruti, Smriti, and Nyaya. Nyaya means logic. So Shruti is scriptures that do not have an author but are learned by hearing. Vedas, Upanishad do not have an author means a, 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 a human author. Shruti, you are direct, and it is heard by hearing from one of a spiritual master. That is called Shruti Prashthan, means spiritual knowledge through Shruti. Then Smriti means remembrance. Smriti means the sages heard it, they heard the Shruti, and then they are writing a commentary or they are explaining in their own words, they're recollecting, they're referring to their their realizations, they're expanding on Shruti, great sages. Smriti Prashthan, scriptures that are written in accordance with Shruti, Vedas, like the Puranas and the Mahabharata. They are called Smriti Prashthan. And Nyaya is scriptures that present logic. Vyasadeva, to harmonize the statements of the Upanishads, wrote the Vedanta Sutra. I'm not very sure if Vedanta Sutra is considered as Nyaya. I'm not sure about it, but it seems like that. But anyways, is this section clear? Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya, Aroha, Avaroha, Pantha. Okay. Then the flow of Sri Isopanishad. Now we will discuss the summary. Sri Isopanishad takes its name from the first word of its first verse. Isha Vasya Idam Sarvam. This is the beginning, the first verse. And Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. When we come to this verse, we'll discuss. But because the first word is Isha, that's why this Upanishad is called Isopanishad, because it speaks about Isha. Isha means God. Basically, everything comes from him. There are 18 mantras in this Isopanishad. There is an invocation prayer. We will discuss that today. And there are 18 18 verses. Like Nectar of Instruction has 11 verses. So likewise, Isopanishad is a very short book, very thin book also, just 18 verses. And we will cover multiple verses in each session. That's why I said 6 to 7 session. Um, there are 18 mantras and an invocation mantra in the Isopanishad that describe Isha, Jiva, which is a living entity, and Jiva's goal, the goal of Jiva. God, living entity, and the goal of living entity. So total 19 mantras, including invocation. The Supreme Lord Isha is perfect and complete, and unlimited complete units emanate from him. This is from the invocation. Knowing that he is, I'm reading it, and when we go to those verses, we will discuss in decent amount of detail all these verses. But seeing the summary of all these verses give us a quick summary of the entire Isopanishad. Knowing that he is a supreme proprietor, one should accept only the quota allotted to oneself and not encroach upon others' wealth. If one lives in the spirit of Isha Vasya with detachment, one can avoid material bondage. And spirit of Isha Vasya means whatever is in your quota, use it and be satisfied by it, and don't encroach upon others' wealth. Um, Krishna is a supreme proprietor, nothing belongs to us. And Krishna has given all of us a particular quota based on his sweet free will. And whatever is given, be happy with that and don't encroach upon others. And if we live in the spirit of Isha Vasya with detachment, one can avoid material bondage. But if one lives on the other side, if we encroach upon others' wealth or anything that belongs to others, but if one lives a materialistic life of sense enjoyment, one is to be considered a soul killer, destined for the dark and demonic planets. And if you see, Krishna has explained these things. He's a proprietor. Don't engage in sense gratification. Those I cast them into hell. Those Krishna has explained everything there. Then the supremely independent Lord has inconceivable qualities and cannot be understood by our limited intelligence. We cannot understand him. He is inconceivable. Krishna says, um, um, Mohana Vijanati. Because of illusion, nobody knows me as I am. And then what are his inconceivable qualities? They are called 10th chapter describes about the opulence of the Supreme. 11th chapter, Krishna explained himself. Krishna speaks in many chapters about himself, but Isopanishad, since it is a very summary study, very conclusive of the Yajurveda, it just says the Lord has inconceivable potency that we cannot understand by our own intelligence. In other words, only through bhakti one can understand that. Krishna clarifies. An advanced devotee developed an equal vision of seeing everything in relation to the Lord and seeing everyone qualitatively one with the Lord. Again, Sunicheva Sobakecha Pandita Samadarshena. And so you will see anything you see in Isopanishad, you will remember a verse. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is like everything is there in that. And seeing everyone qualitatively one with the Lord. And Krishna says, Mama Ivam Sajiva Loka, they are my part and parcel. So my part and parcel, so we are same quality as him because we are his part and parcel. Such a pure devotee knows and attains the Lord who has divine qualities and who fulfills everyone's desires. And that person who can see Krishna in the heart of all living entity, Krishna also says at the end of 5th chapter that he comes to me, and who attains the Lord who has divine qualities and who fulfills everyone's desire. The Lord is the one who fulfills everyone's desires. Prabhupada described it as man proposes, God disposes. Then avidya, ignorance leads one to darkness, and misguided knowledge leads one to greater darkness. These are some intrinsic concepts. We will discuss them. So it's like avidya leads one to darkness, and misguided knowledge leads one to greater darkness. And this we will see. And there is one more like this. It is the result of avidya is material knowledge, and vidya. The result of avidya and vidya are not the same. This is little bit Nyaya. There is some logic there. Cultivating both avidya and vidya side by side grants one immortality, or one should know what is Maya, one should know what is Krishna, and that's how both are covered. Then Asambhuti, demigod worship, leads one to darkness, and Sambhuti, worship of the impersonal absolute, leads one to greater darkness. Very interesting. Demigod worship leads one to darkness. You remain in this material world, maybe higher planet, but still it is darkness because it's part of this dark universe. And Sambhuti, which is worship of impersonal absolute, leads one to greater darkness. All paths do not lead to the same goal. One result in, when I say 12, 13 means these are the, we are referring to all the 18 verses in summary. One result is obtained by worshipping Sambhuti, the supreme, and another result is obtained by worshipping Asambhuti, that which is not supreme. Krishna says worship of demigods, go to demigod, pitras, go to pitralok, ghost, go to ghost, and my devotees come to me. Knowing both Asambhuti and Sambhuti together grant immortality. The devotee prays, the last is the devotee's consciousness. The devotee pray, O merciful Lord, well-wisher of all, please remove your dazzling effulgence and reveal your auspicious form, and let me realize you and my relationship with you. My Lord, remove this Brahman effulgence and let me see you, and let me have a relationship with you. We cannot have relationship with Brahman. And those who worship Brahman, they go to even greater darkness. And those who worship demigod, they go to darkness. But those who worship Krishna, they go to Krishna. Um, Isopanishad does not speak the name of God, which neither do Vedanta Sutra describes the name of God and who God is and what the qualities of God are. It's very esoteric subject actually in Upanishad and Vedas. And that's why Vyasadeva has written Vedas and Upanishads and Vedanta Sutra and Mahabharata and never satisfied. Because Narad Muni said, Sir, itna kuch likha aapne, you wrote so many things. You did not describe what is meant to be described. Everything else so very esoteric. No name in Isopanishad, no name in Vedanta Sutra. That's why Vyasadeva started Bhagavatam by saying Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, so that any confusion by let it go away. Bhagavan is Vasudeva. And then he described various demigods in various Shiv Puran, Devi Puran, and other in the Puranas. But these are like esoteric subject matter actually. O merciful Lord, well-wisher of all, please remove. But this Ishopanishad, one of the reasons Srila Prabhupada gave this Upanishad along with whatever Srila Prabhupada gave to us, is specifically distinguishes and specifically points out that the Lord has a form. In this particular verse, describe that, O merciful Lord, well-wisher of all, please remove your dazzling effulgence, which is like Brahmanohi Pratishtaham. The effulgence of Krishna is Brahman effulgence. Please remove your dazzling effulgence and reveal your auspicious form, and let me realize you and my relationship with you. Prabhupada says, devotee prays to have a relationship with the Lord, but you cannot have relationship with Brahman. Please remember all the services and sacrifices I have done for you. And the last one, please destroy all my sins and guide me on the path to reach you. Last four verses describe about a devotee, how a devotee should pray. And it speaks about demigod worship, speaks about God, speaks about impersonal Brahman, speaks about Maya, speaks about Krishna, speaks about material desires. So it's like, nectar of instruction summary. Likewise, Ishopanishad is a summary of Yajurveda, but very clearly defines that the God has a form. So this is the I think only 2 slides. The invocation today the complete Lord invocation prayer. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. So this is how the meter goes. The perfectly complete Lord, the source of many complete units. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. So Purnam Adaha means he is complete. And Purnamidam means this is also complete. Ada, that is complete. The Lord is complete, and this is also complete. The Supreme Lord Krishna is perfect and complete, and this word is also complete. Idam means this. Adaha means you. Om Purnam Adaha Purnamidam. Purnat Purnam Udachyate. And everything Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Udachyate means whatever comes from you. And this material word, because it has emanated from the complete whole, that's why it is complete. Purnasya Purnam Adaya. Although many complete units emanate from him, Purnam Evava Shishyate. He still remains the complete balance. Basically, Krishna is complete. Everything that comes from Krishna is complete. There are many things that comes from Krishna and all are complete. What all comes from Krishna? Jiva comes from Krishna. Then universes comes from Krishna and incarnations come from Krishna. The universe is also complete. The Jiva is also complete, and the incarnations of Supreme Lord are also complete. All are complete, and although they are all complete, the Lord still remains complete. He is complete. He gives rise to many complete individual units. Although they are all complete, he does not become impersonal. He still remains complete. That itself is a significance that the impersonalists say God created all of us, and because we all came, that's why he does not have a form now. So that is refuted some of their argument that although we come from him, he remains as it is. Like example given is you have a gallon of mango juice. You take a glass of mango juice. That is very nice now, but now the gallon of mango juice has one less glass of mango juice. But this is not the case with Krishna. When something comes from Krishna, nothing, Krishna doesn't lose anything. That's the essence. Whatever comes from Krishna is complete, and Krishna remains complete forever. So in spiritual Shastra, 5 minus 1 is 5, 5 minus 2 is 5, 5 minus 3 is 5, 5 minus 4 is 5, 5 minus 5 is 5. Krishna minus Jiva is Krishna, Krishna minus universe is Krishna, Krishna minus various incarnation is Krishna. Krishna is always Purna, and whatever comes is also Purna. But there is a difference between the Purna of the Jiva and the Purna of the universe. The Jiva Purna, the living entity, is complete only with Krishna. Okay, so that was the summary. Another meaning, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Absolute Truth, unmanifest. And the Absolute Truth, unmanifest means who does not manifest materially, is perfect and complete, Purnam, endowed with all energies. He is the Avatari, the source of all incarnation. All the avatars or incarnation manifests, all the avatar or incarnation that emanate from him to expand his pastimes are also perfect and complete, yet he remains complete. Although unlimited, perfect incarnations and universes emanate from him, Krishna always remains perfect and complete in all respects. In no circumstances is there a diminution of the perfection of the Supreme Lord. See, it looks like little esoteric, but the principle is simple. So Krishna is perfect and complete whole, the supreme absolute truth. He is avatari. From him comes innumerable perfect and complete universes. From him comes unlimited perfect and complete avatars or incarnations. For him comes unlimited small complete units, the jiva or living beings, and they all are complete. Yet he remains complete. Anything taken from him doesn't matter. Whatever comes from him is complete, and he is also complete. And everything in Lord Krishna is perfect and complete. Just like, sometimes we may book a hall and we may do Janmashtami program and we are doing Abhishek and we say, oh, the milk is missing. Where is the milk? Oh, the conch we forgot. अरे deities लाना ही भूल गए, अभिषेक किसका करेंगे? I'm just joking, but sometimes oh, this cord is missing and this laptop is not charged. So whatever we do, there are so many imperfections every time. Whatever we create, so many imperfections. We started something and see there are so many imperfections. But whatever comes from Krishna is complete. Krishna is perfect. And whatever comes from him is perfect. Everything about him is perfect and he still remains the perfect. That's the invocation. Realizing Krishna in three features, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahman, this we know, but it's mentioned by Srila Prabhupada again, so we are reading it again. Brahman is realization of his bodily effulgence, Sat feature. Paramatma is realization of super soul, his partial expansion in his everyone's heart. Sat and Chit feature are there in Paramatma. Sat feature is Brahman, Sat aspect. Sat means eternal and Chit means conscious. And because the super soul, he is conscious of everything, but Brahman is eternal. Um, through super soul, he is conscious of all living entities and what is going in their heart. Brahman is more like impersonal, and it is present everywhere, and that's all. But then he knows everything through the Chit feature, and that comes by Paramatma realization. That's why Bhagavan is Satchitananda, and Sat is alone is Brahman. That's why Bhagavan include Brahman and Paramatma because he is Satchitananda. So Bhagavan is eternal, he is fully conscious, and Bhagavan has this Ananda feature, a complete bliss complete realization of his personality. That is Bhagavan. But Paramatma, bliss feature is not there. Bliss feature is there, like yogis cannot get the bliss that the bhaktas get when they serve Krishna, when they play with Krishna, when they dance with Krishna. That is not there by just closing one's eyes and meditating on Paramatma. So there is Brahman, eternity, all pervading, Paramatma, Sat only, Paramatma, um, uh, everywhere, um, and fully conscious, Sat and Chit. And Bhagavan, everywhere through his Brahman. Paramatma contains Brahman, Bhagavan contains Brahman and Paramatma. Bhagavan everywhere, fully conscious and full of bliss. So this is the three. Prabhupada says Brahman realization is perfect, Paramatma realization is more perfect, Bhagavan realization is most perfect because you realize all the features of Bhagavan, Satchit and Ananda. The complete means Satchitananda. So Bhagavan is Satchitananda. The complete whole or supreme absolute truth, Lord Krishna is Satchitananda Vigraha. He is eternal, he is all-knowing Chit, and he is blissful Ananda and has a beautiful personal form Vigraha. He is not less than his creation in any way. Prabhupada says, if we are form and he does not have a form, then he lacks what we carry. So he does not have something that we have, means he is not complete. So this verse go wrong. Om Purnam Adaha Purnam Midam Purna Purnam Vashishyate. So he is not Purna because he lacks something that even we has. So his creation, he cannot be less than his creation in any way. So the Mayavadis, impersonally, their understanding is he is Purna, but he manifested in us, and we are now. So he does not have that. And they are okay with that understanding, but not Isopanishad is not okay with that. He contains everything both within and beyond our experience. Everything comes from Krishna. The form comes from Krishna, the qualities come from Krishna, everything comes from Krishna. He contains both everything, both within and beyond. Whatever we experience, he has. Whatever we cannot experience, he has. He is the complete whole. All his immense potencies are as complete as he is. This temporary universe, made of 24 elements, produces everything necessary for its maintenance. This universe is complete. Whatever you need, you will find in this universe. Krishna does not say like, oh, I created a universe and the living entities, and now, oh, I did not put water in the universe. What will they drink if they no water? So let me go and put some water in the universe. There are no such cases for Krishna. Everything that comes from Krishna is perfect. Oh, I created so many living entities, but they have no air to breathe, so they are dying. Hey, let me create some air now. So everything that comes from, there are no mistakes there. It's like perfect and complete. This temporary universe made of 24 elements produces everything necessary for its maintenance. And it takes a lot to maintain a universe. It takes a lot to maintain a small temple, or to maintain a business, or to maintain a household. And then he is maintaining the whole universe. That is his Shakti. Um, that is his perfectness, completeness. This temporary universe made of 24 elements produces everything necessary for its maintenance. It functions on its own fixed time scale, and when completed, everything will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete whole. Krishna does not need an alarm. Oh, it's time to destroy. Now it's time to create. Everything about Krishna is perfect. It functions on its own fixed time scale. Everything, the science can also predict the sun will come, eclipse will come this time to the very minute millisecond. The scientists can also see how the universe will work and how the planets will move. Everything is so perfect. Why? Because it's emanation of Krishna, the universe. So it's perfect and complete. And no need exists which does not lie in this universe. Anything you want, you can do. Even mystical powers, anything, complete. It functions on its own fixed time scale, and when completed, everything will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete whole. Um, See, the whole is compared to complete. Krishna is complete, and whatever he arranges, whatever he creates, everything complete. That's why so many times Purna, Purnam, Purna, Purnam. Living entity are complete. All facilities are given to the small complete unit jivas to enable them to realize the complete whole. In other words, if you want to go to Krishna, all the facility are there in this universe. If you want to attain some higher planet, lower planet, some material desire, everything is within this universe. The jiva within this universe can get what he wants. All facilities are given to the small complete units, jivas, to enable them to realize the complete whole. Specifically, to realize Krishna, they can realize Krishna and go back to Godhead. Everything is there. Greatness of human life obtained after evolving in 8.4 million species. Consciousness is fully manifested in human form of life, avails realization of one's completeness by serving the complete whole and dovetailing one's activities to him. And we realize our complete self. Our complete self is our Swarup, our relationship with Krishna, avails realization of one's completeness. I mean, our realization is not complete. In fact, our relation is faulty, that I am this body, or I am the son, or I am the father, I am the mother, and I am. This is incomplete or false, let's say, realization. But the jiva can avail realization of one's completeness by serving the complete whole and dovetailing one's activities to him. By doing something in the service of Krishna, and by serving Krishna, one can realize one's completeness, which we have forgotten. Not utilizing this opportunity puts one again into the evolutionary cycle of birth and death. But if you don't avail this opportunity, then punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Again and again this comes. Why do we experience incompleteness? I believe this is the last slide. Why? I mean, if we are complete whole, then why do we experience incompleteness? All form of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. Like it is said, we are dependent. Krishna is independent. So we are also complete, but then we become complete with the complete whole, with our connection with Krishna. And when we experience incompleteness, that is because of our incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. When we know Krishna, we will become complete. Till that time, we will be incomplete. Ignorance, not knowing that there is a complete arrangement in nature for our maintenance, we make efforts to utilize the resources of nature to create a so-called complete life of sense enjoyment. So, not knowing that Krishna is maintaining us, we put a lot of our efforts to create a complete life of sense enjoyment, and we get anyways what we are destined for. So uh, not knowing that there is a complete arrangement in nature for our maintenance. Everything is provided by nature and it's complete, but we make so many efforts, we take so many efforts, utilize the resources, exploit to live a complete life of sense enjoyment, and that's what make us feel incomplete. The jivas are fragmental parts of the complete whole, Krishna. If they are disconnected from him, the illusory completeness cannot satisfy them. Body hand example. The hand is a complete unit only as long as it is attached to the complete body. When the hand is severed from the body, it cannot function like a hand. Like this thumb is very useful. Prabhupada gives an example. Somebody also mentioned this thumb is very useful. You can write, you can cut, you can cook, you can do so many things. You can lift. This thumb is very useful. But then when the thumb is cut off from the hand, then this thumb is just a piece of skin and flesh and bone, and it dwindles, and that piece of thumb cannot do anything. But when the piece of thumb is connected to the hand, the thumb is very useful. So the hand is a complete unit, like the hand is capable, is a complete unit only as long as it is attached to the complete body. And likewise, when we are connected with the complete whole, then we become complete unit. We realize our completeness, but because of avidya, ignorance, when we forget the complete whole, and in that um, like uh, um, uh, improper understanding of ourselves, when we work under ignorance and exploit the nature, then we experience incompleteness there. But when we come to Krishna consciousness, we experience completeness. Dovetailing all social, political, communal, or international activities remain incomplete until they are dovetailed toward the complete whole. Basically, I mean, Prabhupada describes about Jiva's incompleteness because of ignorance, and how Krishna consciousness can make the Jiva feel fully complete. And whether one is political, social, communal, international, whatever one does, everything remains incomplete. But when any activity is connected with Krishna, then we become complete in any phase of life. Okay. Yeah, that's a little complex. So, of any discussion, we are done with the invocation and the introduction. There is some discussion we can put now. Is it very complex? Were you able to understand?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Bhakti, Tanvat Pranam.
Chandra Pranam Mataji.
I just had a question. Thank you for
Mhm.
explaining it so nicely. You were mentioning that each Upanishad does not refer the name of God, right? I mean, does not refer Krishna as such,
No,
right?
does not. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So when we are doing this reading seva and the Lord's name keeps coming over, it's Prabhupada mercy that He has mentioned it in our purpose. That's why we're saying Supreme Lord Krishna
Yes.
can be realized.
Yes, that is from the purport, Mataji. If you see the verse says Om Purnam Adaha. He is complete. There is no mention of who he is.
Who He is. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Prabhu.
And that's why so many people who read Upanishads, some say he is without a form, but then if he is without a form, then why is a devotee praying, My Lord, remove? Even Kena Upanishad, so many Upanishads are there, but so confusing actually. I mean, cannot really make it out from there. And it is said that Krishna is very hidden in the Vedas. Krishna spoke the Vedas, but it is mentioned Krishna himself is hidden in the Vedas. Means it's there, but people won't understand. There are verses that describes Krishna, but among so many, there are very few sections that describes him, Narayan. They are mentioned in Vedas. His name is there. Prabhupada quotes some of those verses, but among so many, it becomes very less percentage and very easily misinterpreted. Even Vedanta Sutra does not give a name. Even Patanjali Yoga Sutra, I mean, it's not bona fide, but there also he is mentioned by the name Ishvara, Ishvara, Ishvara. Um, so
Yes,
little
that is not
confusing.
mentioned. Yeah, because I'm just reminded, just like how we are doing this reading seva, like one of my Christian friends, when we were talking, like that, and we were discussing our Father in heaven, holy be thy name. So we were discussing like how the name of the Father is not mentioned like that. So
Mm,
she was explaining this to me that the according to what she has learned in her Christianity, they did not give the name because if you use the name with like how we say it's a namaparad offense, like you can be offensive to the name of the Lord, so that is why they hide the name. The name is not given in the Holy Bible as such, but now with time they are bringing the name Yahweh, like what Jesus Christ said, or Jehovah, like what we see now in modern times. But her explanation was also this, that we don't refer to the name because we don't want to commit offense against the holy name of the Lord. The Lord name is very holy. So for better not to let people know about the name anyways. So at least they can just say God, God, God. That way they will not commit offense.
mm,
Then I understood, okay, this is what we are also taught about Nama Para. Don't blaspheme or do anything against the holy name.
mm.
So
Now, two thoughts on that.
understand what
Mataji. One thought is two thoughts on what you said. One thought is God is also a name. When they say God, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says God as primary name, God as secondary name. Primary name are more powerful than secondary name. And he says secondary name as divine, Lord God. And he says primary name as Krishna, Yashodanandana, Radha Kanta. And these are primary names. So names are still there. They are chanting. They are saying it's so holy we cannot chant, but they take the name anyways, but it's a secondary name.
yeah. Yes, yes. Thank you.
Another thought, Mataji, there is a devotee named Vallabhacharya. Vallabha Bhatt, that time his name was Vallabha Bhatt. He went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is in Antya Leela, and he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that God is our supreme and he's superior. And in Vedic culture, we don't take the name of the supreme or the superior. We don't call our father, mother by their name. So how can we? And he is the Lord. So out of respect, we don't take the name of, like, in our Vedic culture, even we say uncle, auntie. We don't call, hey Mahesh, who is our grandfather. We don't say Mahesh, or we don't say Thakurani. We just say Mata or grandmother, grandfather, or uncle, mama, tai, like that. So we don't call them by name, which is opposite to the Western culture. But this is like Mahaprabhu and Vallabha Bhatta. So he's like, how it's very disrespectful to take the name of Krishna. And he's the supermost, he's Adi Purusha. And we call him as Krishna, very disrespectful. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Vallabha Bhatta that if it is the duty of a servant to follow the instruction of the Guru, it is a duty of servant to follow the instruction of master. And when the master says, take my name, when the Swami says, take my name, and if we don't take the name, then we are going against the instruction of Master. And Krishna himself says, my name should be chanted. And there are so many glories of Kirtana Deva Krishna Sya Kalotad Hari Kirtanat, that the name of the Lord be glorified. So when the Shastra is the mother, when the Shastra and when the Lord himself, the Lord says, among all the yagya, I'm japa, chanting the holy names. So when Lord says the name should be chanted and we don't chant, then we are disobeying the instruction. So we don't follow that. We don't say that his name should not be chanted, but his name is covered in Upanishads and Vedas for the most part. That's why Krishna says the purpose of all the Vedas is to know me. Why? Because if you read the Upanishad, by reading, we cannot understand because it's not very clear. But then Krishna is telling, but the actual purpose of that is to know me in Bhagavad Gita.
Understood, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for clarification.
Thank you very much, Mata. Hare Krishna. Okay, any other question? Clarification?
So, is it open? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
if I by reading Bhagavatam, we will get the most knowledge, right, Prabhuji?
Okay.
And what about the Upanishads? Comes from the Guru.
So what is the question, Mataji?
The question is, by reading Upanishads, will it be, I mean, will I get confused by reading Bhagavatam and Upanishads?
Well, when we hear Upanishad from bona fide sources, which is Srila Prabhupada's purport and our previous acharyas, then we get a clear understanding of Upanishad. But it gives a good feeling of what Upanishad contains, because I think many of us may be hearing or reading a direct Upanishad for the first time. And Krishna is very, very clear in his presentation in Bhagavad Gita. And because these Vedas and Upanishad are so esoteric and so covered, um, Krishna literally discourages Arjuna to go to the subject matter. And then he says, just this is sufficient, but I'm telling you, very, very clear, concise, perfect Bhagavad Gita. That's it, like, everything is like sun. But then people, because no name are given and so many interpretations, Sama Bhattacharya, great scholar of Vedanta Sutra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I understand everything. Why? Because everything came from him only. He is Krishna. His Vakya is Vedas and everything come from him. So he knows the conclusion. So when he heard the conclusion, Mahaprabhu says very clear what the conclusion is, what the summary is. But what are you cooking from this conclusion? It's like, you are covering the entire meaning. So that's why so much confusion there.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. I understand. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank
Very good. Okay. Anybody else? Any question, clarification?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, just a thought, it's not a question. So, why we are learning this book at the last, as the last book of the, the Bhakti Shastri course? It should be first, because
Going back,
it's,
reminding our understanding to the basic level.
yes, Prabhuji.
Well, there is no a specific order that the course has to be done from these books, but the reason was this book is like Bhagavad Gita and Nectar of Devotion, um, Nectar of Instruction, very, very direct, very clear, very instructive. And Isopanishad we never discussed earlier. Some of the devotees in the group had read the first three books, and some of them had written exams also earlier, few years back. But this book we never discussed. So we thought first we do the books that we have already a good understanding of. And this is like esoteric subject matter. So we can go in little more detail, and we kept it at the end. That was our purpose. But there is no sequence that needs to be followed.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I think it's better because we already have knowledge about the Supreme Lord, so it is easy to accept. Though they are not revealing the name, who is Supreme they are talking about, but we know, we already accept it, right? So
We
it's easy
understand from
to
that perspective. That's
yes,
why we need a bona fide acharya or commentators, and then we read from there what they left off, what they eat, what they chew. We take the reminiscence, and then we perfectly understand everything.
yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other question, clarification? Okay. I guess it's time. Thank you all for this last phase of our Bhakti Shastri. Hope all the best to all of you. Once again, a quick reminder on 30th, we have Nectar of Devotion exam, 13 days from now. It's on Saturday. And we will be releasing tomorrow, day after tomorrow, the last assignment that we can return in a week. And so we'll be done with NOD, and then this is the only thing remaining. Hopefully, before our different spiritual masters come here, we should be done with this course. With this, I'll close. My obeisances to all of you. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripasindhubhya evacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. If I spoke anything wrong or or inappropriate, please forgive me as a humble servant. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So much.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Thank you. Radha Bhavani Devi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Angidhari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Nandilal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prihamani Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Pravina Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.